I had a pizza yesterday. It arrived with the wrong side up, so I flipped it, just like I flipped my mindset in 2020. Sometimes you just need to flip the bird. Here's a photo of me and my entire family doing it in wedding clothes. Sydney Sweeney wore jeans and broke the internet. Confidence doesn't need a disclaimer. Flying economy taught me how to stay grounded in business. Okay, let's fix this. LinkedIn used to be the platform where you shared a promotion and maybe a long blog post. Now, it's where you tell your followers someone from your family died and somehow you use this to talk about stakeholder management. But if you want to build a personal brand on LinkedIn without giving off motivational speaker energy, let me tell you that there's a way better way to do it than that. And no, it doesn't involve flipping birds, pizzas, or your personality. This is how to survive LinkedIn without oversharing or turning into a character from Succession. The first thing that you gotta do is you have to define what you want to be known for. And this is where a lot of people go wrong. They don't know how to talk, so they end up just talking. That's when you get posts like, I missed the flight and it reminded me that leadership is about letting go. Or you also get posts like someone uploading a blurry mirror selfie and saying, some doors open, others close, let's grind. When you look at this, you probably don't see what's wrong, but the truth is when people land on your profile and can tell what you do or what you talk about, they're not going to follow you. If you want to stand out, you should decide what you want to talk about and stick to it. Pick 2 to 3 themes that make sense for your role or your industry and stick to them. For example, if you're a freelance social media manager, you can talk about working with clients or about content strategy. And you can even talk about what it is like trying to run your business solo. Or if you're a strategist, let's say at a SaaS company, you can talk about building campaigns, sharing your favorite tools that you use at the moment, or reflecting at how your team is scaling. These things don't put you in a box. They make you remarkable and rememberable. And as an example, just look at Rachel Carden. She is a social media consultant and writer behind Link in Bio, one of the top business newsletters on Substack. Her posts cover content trends, brand voice, and insights from top brands like NASA, Duolingo, and Kava. But she shares this always through her lens as a practitioner. For example, when I scrolled her feed, I immediately knew what she was talking about. This is someone who not only gets social, but stays in her lane while keeping it fresh. And that's what makes her memorable. So, once your pillars about what you want to talk about are clear, we can talk about tone, which brings me to my second tip. You can be personal, but you cannot be too personal. That post about flipping a pizza and changing the status quo, that is what happens when people confuse vulnerability with performance. Being personal means writing how you talk. It means bringing your real voice into your posts. LinkedIn is where people go to trust you, to learn from you, to figure it out if they want to work for you or your company, or even if they want to figure it out if they want to hire you. That trust is built through ideas, not through pity posts. So think personal with purpose. If your story teaches, inspires, or gives useful insight, share it. For example, think about the first time that you spoke in public at a conference event and almost passed out. Because yes, this happens to almost everyone that talks at a conference event. Well, you can grab that experience and share the insightful tips that you use in order to stay calm and survive that presentation successfully. That's a great post. You have a personal story, but then you provide insightful tips for people that can do or might do the same as you in your industry. But posts like, for example, oversharing bad breakup moment and somehow tying it into a leadership skill, that's a big no-no. So, as I said before, the problem here is when the story becomes the whole post and the lesson gets lost. That's when those posts start to usually feel like a performance, not as something genuine. For example, look at Sophie Miller. She is the founder of Pretty Little Marketer and a top social media strategist that actually uses LinkedIn to share honest takes about what it's like to work in the industry. She talks about burnout, confidence, client red flag, but it never feels random. If you take a look at her profile, you notice that every post has a clear takeaway. You leave with a new perspective, not just a peek through her top moments in her life. So yes, show up as yourself. Let your tone reflect who you are. Just make sure that the value of your post is still your focus, not the backstory of it. And on to my next tip, I have to start small. Because yes, comments are also content. I know posting can feel super intimidating. You write something, hover over post, and immediately think, did what I say made sense? Or does this sound completely cringe? That's totally normal. I've been there. So here's how you low pressure the way out of it. You have to start in the comments. Seriously, you can leave meaningful and thoughtful comments on people's posts. But with this, I mean actually comment. Not just say, oh my God, I love this, or this was super helpful, because these comments are very vague and empty. You have to respond like you're in a conversation and you are fully paying attention to what they said. Because think about this, your comment shows up on people's feed and it actually says something meaningful. So it gets noticed. Or even better, you grab that comment and use it as content. How do you do this? Well, let me explain to you. If you say something in the comments like, this same thing happened to us with a client, same trend, same topic, but we had a different outcome. Boom, that's a post right there. You can grab that comment and make it into a carousel or even a post of your own and talk about that experience that you had with your client. Because again, remember that your experience is only yours and nobody can replicate that. You just have to add a little bit of more context and you have a great post to start. A real example of this, well, us. Yes, we're not a personal brand, but we treat Metrical's comment strategy as if it was one. We don't just drop emojis or do generic replies to people that talk about us. We answer questions, react to ideas, engage in meaningful and top posts. Over time, that voice has become recognizable. People know what to expect from us. We have realized that has made people want to interact way more with us because they know there's a reply waiting there. So comment like someone is actually going to read it, because trust me, they will read it. Now let's talk consistency. I know I'm not going to talk to you about posting every day or chasing virality. I mean showing up in a way that works for you. What does consistency actually look like? In Metrical's latest LinkedIn study, we analyzed over 550,000 accounts across industries. And what we found was surprisingly simple. You don't need to post every day or chase every trend. The average across top performing accounts was 12 posts a month. So that's around 3 posts a week. I would say that can be a rhythm that's sustainable, realistic, and it can make a real difference for your account. So how do you stay consistent, learn what works, and not spend your whole day on LinkedIn?
That's exactly why we built Metrical. And that's how we organize our content too. Let me show it to you. In Metrical, you can actually schedule any kind of LinkedIn post, whether it's a text update, a video, or even an image as well. And let's say that you upload multiple images. Well, Metrical can actually automatically turn them into image carousels, and you can even change the name as well. Then you can pick the time that you want to post these posts on your audience activity. So for example, you can pick the time or the date. But if you go right here, it actually tells you when your audience is the most active. So I would actually recommend this for you to be the first step that you do. And once your post is published, you can track everything. You can do growth, reach, comments, saves, demographics, interactions, all of it. And since everything is in one same place, you can even go way back and see what worked before so you can replicate it.
That's really what growing on LinkedIn is all about. Whether you're starting out or already posting regularly, the key here isn't making noise. It's showing up with purpose and a little bit of strategy. If you want to know more about LinkedIn strategy, you should check out this video with Michelle J. Raymond, a B2B LinkedIn strategist that shares her practical tips to increase your visibility and build trust on the platform. Let me know in the comments if this video helped or if you have any questions. And of course, don't forget to follow. See you in the next one, Metric Cooler.